trees.
So,
Thank you. I'll just get these done.
Thank you to members of the public, councillors and officers who are joining us for today's meeting. Please be aware that the council is video recording this meeting and this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. I would also just want to highlight some key points of meeting format. Please, can I ask everyone to have their phones turned off or set to silent? If councillors have any concerns about hearing or seeing others in the meeting, please let the chair or a council officer know straight away. The fire exits are clearly marked, with 2 in this room being the closest. I think it's there and there. The assembly point is the flat grass area by the patio. Please remain seated unless you are invited to speak or need to take a comfort break. The toilet facilities are out in the corridor. Members of the public are invited to participate in the meeting. But since there are no members of the public, I think I'll skip that paragraph. Yes. I would like to invite participants looking to leave the meeting to wait until the end of an agenda item to limit distractions from other participants. To all present, please remember to show respect to others in the meeting and avoid interrupting where possible to enable others to follow the meeting. If any councillors feels concerned about any aspects of a meeting or discussion, please clearly state point of order and I will then gesture for you to speak. Thank you for listening. On behalf of Seaford Town Council, I would like to thank everyone for attending this council meeting. Agenda item number 1. Any apologies for absence?
Yes, Chair. Good evening, everyone. We have one apology. Councillor Warraven has a personal commitment. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2. Disclosure of interest. To deal with any disclosure by members of any disclosable pecuniary interest and interest other than pecuniary interest as defined under the Seaford Town Council Code of Conduct and the Localism Act 2011 in relation to matters on the agenda. None. Agenda item number 3, public participation. Again, I presume there will be none.
No publication.
So if that's okay with members, can we move to change the agenda, the structure of the agenda tonight? So we start with agenda item number 6, 7, and we'll finish with agenda item number 4 last. Is that okay? That's fine. Yeah. Okay, agenda item number 6. Golf course manager.
That's how it's fine.
Number 5.
Number 5.
I think it's got number, yeah, they've got the number model.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it's,
Number number 6.
it says number 6 on the paper, but number
Yeah.
5 on the list. So
And
there's a bit of a twiddle there. If we go number 6.
Agenda item number 5 or 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Everyone well. I hope everyone had time to read through the report. I've got a few additions, things that have happened since the wrote the report. We had a really positive meeting with the golf course architect with regards to 17th Green, 18th Tee redesign movement. The guy we met with currently works for a very high profile architectural company within golf. They're all being put onto as a contractors rather than employees. I think the business is going that way. So he was looking to branch out. I found the guy because his reviews and local comments in magazines with regards to the golf course. He's a local guy, originally grew up, learned the game of golf here. So we invited him along. He is the chairman of the Sustainable Golf Committee, which treated a lot of good points for us. He's also got passion for natural and sustainability in golf and design. So we invited him along. He knew the site well anyway, but Louise and I met him, and he's producing a design that is of a standard that we can present to yourselves, the committee, and also other bodies, stakeholders, national parks, Natural England, with a view to show what our plan is, what we need to achieve. And from there, we can work out another plan. The aim is to get that done by March, ready for the new financial year. And we can create a plan to move forward to get the project underway. We have secured a container for the yard. We're in the process of doing it on our rate report. That's due to come next week. We've got a new member of staff. He is working out really well at the moment. He's been with us just over a month now. And it was nice after 2 years to fill the gap in our team. So I hope that we can move forward in that and create a golf course. And that's about it. Everything else is highlighted in the report. Welcome. Any questions?
Any questions? Councillor.
I think what's really exciting about the visit was that we are going for to adjust both spaces, and we were thinking about doing them separately, but actually with the work involved, with the closure, with the public interest, then we think it's sensible to do it in one go. The other thing is we're looking quite a visionary plan, and so that will be exciting to look at in terms of what the golf players see and experience, but also we've got quite a lot of areas to look at. We've got quite a lot of areas to consider in terms of the natural history, so that limits what we do.
Thank you, Chair. This all sounds excellent. I've got a question that came to me because I'm trying to get on top of golf course management issues, and I hope this is not. I'll rely on our esteemed chairman to tell me if it's not. But I mean, and Seaford Head Golf Club is very proud of its green credentials and the efforts it takes to manage its course sustainably. I've just been finding out about some of the appalling things that happen in some places in terms of managing worm casts. Could you tell me what happens here and what products are used?
We don't use any products.
Brilliant.
We painstakingly spend 3-4 hours a day with switch canes clearing worms manually off the greens. And greens are the only areas that we clear them from. The other thing we do in terms of fairways, this time of year if we're going to go out onto fairways and cut, which is reduced anyway, we've got a 75 metre rope. We have it attached to each buggy, one buggy each side of the fairway, and drag it out of the fairway, and that clears the worm cast. Hopefully on a windy day, so they're dry and they explode into a nice crumbly dust, and then we can mow after that. But yeah, no, I have been here a long time, and there was chemicals that were used in the past that were for worm control. It suppressed the casting worms. There's other products available now that aren't sold as worm control, but they do kill worms. They're sold as soil conditioners, which we don't use. And I think eventually no one will be using them again. Once it's known that that's what they're targeting, that will be banned as well. But yeah, we've always stuck away from anything like that. And rest assured, all the time I'm in charge, I'll be staying away from it as well.
Brilliant.
With the work we do with the, it's in the report, the beneficial bacteria and fungi that we put down, there's nothing that I'd want. We spend 5 years doing that now. So that soil web that we've got, I don't want to put anything down to destroy that. Hope that answers your worries.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Just a quick question following on from Councillor Stephen's question. I noticed on 1.27 you're moving towards electric streamers and blowers.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's quite good. And I think I've asked this before. In terms of replacing your diesel Walkman in your top dress, how easy it is to have the electric mode?
They're not at a stage now that they're viable for most golf courses, especially not us. We've gone for an electric buggy now with the high buggies. So we run around on, for our general maintenance, we run around on an electric buggy as well. Electric mowers, they guarantee 21 greens cutting. We sometimes double cut, so that's 36 plus the playing grid. Our biggest issue is we only have one of each. People, I did ask the question actually to the suppliers. We looked at costs when we were budgeting, and I said to most people buy two at a time. He said, yeah. And that's just for greens, you're looking 70, 80 pounds per machine. The batteries just aren't there at the moment.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? No? Thank you very much. We are asked to note the contents of the report. Can I have a proposal, please? Thank you, Councillor Dubas. And secondly, all those in favour of noting the report, says unanimous. Thank you. The next agenda item, there's a number that is 65. Mr. Moisley, on your spot.
I've just got one addition to go with this. I had a meeting with a company that are partnership with PGA regarding parking, electric parking points. We had a good conversation with them. They've been out and done a survey. We've only just got the report back from them, which looks very good. But I'll bring that to next committee to show everybody what the points are with that and how much money we can get from it. But it's a fully installed, fully paid for by the company, and we get profit share from it. So that could be quite good. And it's a future-proof company that we're doing it. There's a lot of companies that promise a lot, but this company is partnership with the PGA, so it could be quite good start from that. But I'm happy to take any other questions on the other part of the report.
Can I be self-indulgent to ask a question on the electric charging point? It's something that I'm interested in. How many parking spaces are you looking at with an issue?
8.
8.
Yeah.
And is that viable in terms of?
It should be, yeah. I mean, the point that they were looking at a couple of areas, but the one they were looking at was literally going from the two disabled bays next to the view, further going up the hill towards the greenkeeper shed. That's their preferred point. Obviously, that's down to regulations and things like that. So.
Again, and I'm not trying to preempt we can come up because because I've just done something similar, and most of them want a 10 or 15-year contract.
Literally got there's a 30-page report they've sent through today, so I haven't had a chance to do it.
Yeah, I won't preempt it.
I'll put all the details into the thing. Yes, sure.
Those spaces might be where the providers want to put them, but where do we want to put them? So if you put those parking spaces there, it's going to stop people without electric cars parking there.
Well, that's going to be at any point. Wherever we put them, it's going to stop people without electric points parking.
They should be dispersed across the car park, so they're not taking the.
They have to go in one block because otherwise the wiring, to remove a wiring, if you took one down there, it's another 50 yards wiring and cost. All the electric points go into a block.
But it's their cost, isn't it? It's not our cost.
Yeah, but then it won't be viable and they won't do it. If it's not viable for them cost-wise, they'll retract their comment on it. So.
What we will do is bring, if you don't mind, we will bring, when we bring the report, a map of where, and then the councils can have a look and see.
They've got an overhead view actually. They've got that. I've seen the map on it. They've got the map where they're pointing, where they're suggesting to put them. So.
I'd like that to go out to councillors for them to discuss it and have a comment on it before any plans get put into place, because
Absolutely.
I'm going to bring it to next meeting.
It will come to members before if it's agreed.
Sure, but can I have one quick question? I know that the golf club is the end of the line for electricity supply. Presumably people who are prepared for, have they taken into account the sufficient ampage to come all the way to the end of the line?
Yeah, they've been through the electric. They did a full survey of the area. They looked through the electric points and whatever parts they need to look at.
So presumably I'm saying to you there's going to be at least a 100 ampage supply to this place.
I don't know the technicalities of it, I'm afraid, without looking at the report. But they've looked at the meters that we've got and they've taken readings from that to compile their report. So I would imagine
average.
Yeah.
But we will be putting things in that don't actually fulfil our commitments to members who are electric cars. Thank you.
So before I come to you, I just realized I just reading your report. I just realized I forgot to declare a non-pecuniary interest. My son, I don't know if does he still play?
I've not seen him for a while.
Okay, my son used to play golf. and things. I don't think it'll be free golf.
Yeah.
So I better just get that out of the way.
That's helpful, Chair, but I think that is a de minimis interest and very financial.
No, there's nothing.
Oh, yes, thank you. A couple of quick questions on the electric buggy things. Number one, you could actually get some solar panel kind of cover things, park them underneath them. They're covered for the rain and stuff like that, and that could contribute to charging the machines up. Number two, if you there's a proposal that's being made batteries, because you can charge the batteries up overnight on a cheaper rate and recharge.
As I say, I've literally received the report today, so I'll bring it to next council and you've got a lot more information from the Thursday page that they've sent me today.
Is it possible to see that before next meeting?
No, I think we just wait until next, if that's okay. We wait until the next meeting. You'll come to us. But it will come to us anyway before any decision is taken. So we can know. So just follow the usual procedure. Yeah, the usual formality. So just come next. Yeah, if that's okay. Any other question apart from so you said there were 3 things on there, and I think I'd like us to just go through them individually if we cover them before we probably vote on one go. So it's just the fees for the year. I remember it's okay with what are your thoughts on the fees? The fees for that. And do you think, I mean, again, and I'm sure, Fraser, if you've gone through to, there's a big hike, isn't there? I don't know, percentage-wise, what's the problem? From 930 to 980.
There's an extra increase of £10 due to the affiliation fees going up. Well, we have to transfer over. So it would be the normal increment that we would put up green fee, or memberships each year, because what we normally do is the new members price would then become the renewal price for the members originally. So that would have been 930 and 970 accordingly. But that's we have those affiliation fees. Well, one of them's doubled, isn't it?
It's got over 100% on the affiliation fees.
So can you, for 1.6, I read that quite a few times. I didn't quite understand that. So for free, you're doing a £23.50. Can you just explain that?
Members, yeah. So basically, it's the affiliation fees from Golf England and Sussex Golf Union. So that covers all your affiliation fees within the county. So you get a county card, which allows you discounts at the golf courses as a member of a particular golf club. Also covers your handicap fees. So Golf England run the handicap system nationally or internationally now. So that's all part of those affiliation fees for a golf club to be a member of that, if you like. So.
Okay, so that's fine. And are we still giving the members you had like a discount card? Was that still going on? People can get.
It has been this year, yes.
Yeah, and that will continue.
That will continue. Yeah.
Next year.
What was the uptake? Has that been useful? Has that been worth having?
So at the moment with the members discount card, they can use it in the view. Is that the card you're talking about?
I think so. I think I just said you can't members get discounted.
Oh, well, the county card, you mean?
I'm not sure what it was. I guess I think they mentioned one.
Well, within the affiliation fees, each member now, for certainly the next year, all get what they call a county card. So, as a member of a golf club, you can different golf courses have different discounts for that. When we've put into the pricing here, because everybody will now have a county card, whereas it's something you have to go and actually get. We've put that price up because we're going to get a lot more people coming in. Well, majority, if you're a member of another golf course, you're going to have a county card, so everybody's going to have a discount. So we've sort of split the difference between a full one and a concession for that to try and increase revenue on that side.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I think should we take everything in one go? Okay, so we'll be asked to note the contents of the report, to agree the 2024-2025 membership fees for renewal and new members, and to agree the 2024-2025 green fees. Can I have a proposal? Councillor Lord, and second that. Councillor Meek, all those in favour? It's carried, unanimous. Sorry, Councillor Meek.
Chair, I just want to thank you. I don't get confused with the order of things because we changed it around. There was a question I wanted to address to
No, sorry, come back next meeting. That's okay.
just a point of information. I just wondered at agenda number 6, 115. When the roof irrigation for the view, the last sentence said this will be considered when looking at maintenance plans and towards use and upkeep. I know that it gets serviced by the mains water. I think we discussed this before, and I was looking at it just recently. It's not very far from the tank to the view roof, and I don't understand why we couldn't possibly put an additional pump just to pump water from there onto the roof to irrigate it, as opposed to having to pay for mains water to do such a thing. Is that something you would consider, or?
It's an option that could be looked into.
Do you think we could consider it at some
The
point?
main problem we will have is the design of the irrigation system, it's a leak supply system. So it's delicate basically underground, under the soil. It's designed to run at mains pressure. You'd need to find a pump or device that can generate mains pressure constantly to keep, which in terms of golf irrigation they don't do.
We can't put a different pump attached to the tank to take water off the tank that we have already.
In my expertise and my irrigation specialist expertise, they don't have that available to.
It seems a shame when we
it
got
does, yeah. The tank,
huge tank of water there.
Designed with one outlet at the bottom for irrigation system, so it would mean adapting the tank, which is probably doable. It's that constant mains pressure that it requires to. Basically, the water leaks out of a perforated, not even the right word for the pipe. It's a flexible pipe that water will come out.
Percolation system.
Percolation system.
1.2 bar has to be. And you can't achieve that without being from mains pressure unless you have a pressure release valve on the top. And it's going to have to build up to 2 bar with a pressure release valve. So it comes at 1.2 bar. It's quite a complicated system.
We do have an officer looking at the roof at the moment, so part of that will be what to do next, how to maintain it, and whether even that system works at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, thank you, Councillor Meek. Okay, so next item is agenda item
8.
7. The view update report.
So it's 8 on the bit of page 24.
Yes, 24.
Page 24.
Basically, I call it the Lewis Lawrence report.
Yeah. So this is tiny. The view future arrangements, I've put Para in there, is obviously is managed by full council, so that isn't covered here now. And then just to tell you, the view itself is doing really well at the moment. We've now got a core bank of contracted staff. We've got a new chef. They're very motivated. We're getting good feedback, and the bookings are good for Christmas. So going forward, that's a good story.
Any questions?
Excellent.
Can you just ask, why are we still trying to recruit a general manager? Is there a need for it now?
So we, very simply, we've got a system where we've got the assistant manager who's running the view at the moment, and we're advertising for the general manager because actually need one for the handover. It may be that as we land the recruitment, we end up with just a general manager, not an assistant anymore, or it may be that we have both. But we are speaking to opportunities in that process of handover and trying to see the best way going forward. Certainly over the Christmas period, we are so busy. I mean, they've got sort of 90 seaters most of the nights that she's finding it very hard.
That's good news. Well done.
May I ask you to, if there are no other questions, we are asked to note the content of the report. Of the proposal, please. Because I'm looking at you, can't finish. All those in favour?
That's everyone, thank you, Chair.
So are we doing both budgets together?
I mean, do you want, how do people want to do them?
Okay, let's go. Now, we're going to go back to agenda item number 4 and look at the expenditure report to date, and then we will end with the budget for next year. So does that make any sense? So we now go to agenda item number page 5 on the report, which is the expenditure to date.
Chair, I'd just like to start by, on the film, thanking Lucy, plus also Simon and also Andy as RFO for all of their work on these financial reports. I think that the income and expenditure report is pretty comprehensive. All of the major variances are explained within the report, as well as a summary of the financial position for the year so far, and the council can see the generally positive picture in the financial position year to date so far. And just by way as an addendum, councillors will also remember from the full council meeting they recently had in October that the RFO presented a forward forecast for the view for the financial year, and the figures used there are consistent with these, if that makes sense. So we're still expecting a similar forward forecast to year end based upon these figures as we were at the meeting 2 weeks ago, if that makes sense. Not surprising that, but I just thought to make that clear as well. So happy to hand back to you, Chair, for any questions or comments. Thank you, Councillors. Thank you.
Any questions? Councillor Mead.
Thank you, Chair. 327. Costs for catering utensils and equipment, it is likely that this account will be £500 over budget by the year end due to need for new dinnerware and cutlery. This raises a question to me, but it also raises other questions as well, which I don't know if it's been discussed, and maybe it's just me being ignorant, but I'm wondering why we're buying new dinnerware and cutlery when we're just about to hand over to Papagino's. But the further question was, what is the situation with everything that we own in this building, and how is that working with the lease? Because what happens to, are we leasing the whole thing, cutlery and all, obviously with the kitchen equipment, but could explain somebody, please?
I mean, so the dinnerware, really not what we want to do. Unfortunately, we are so busy at Christmas, and the events have been really busy leading up, that we realised we don't actually have enough dinnerware to seat the 90 people. So we've had to buy enough glassware and plates to replace the breakage that's leading up to this point, and actually to make sure we have enough to deliver. So we had a couple of events where we were running between the kitchen and washing up, and I said, no, we can't, that's not really an offer that we want to either offer now, but even actually move forward, saying, well, we don't have enough equipment to service the business. So that's why we're buying that now. It's just, I know it says cutlery and dinnerware, it's not just that. It's actually that we didn't have any platters large enough to deal with the events. We've been caught off guard, if you like, with the amount of business bookings that we've had this year. We just didn't have the facilities to serve that many people. We've also got a new chef with a new menu who said, look, the menu I've designed, which is a really lovely menu, we've had great feedback, I need certain platters to deliver that menu on. They're doing a lot more wakes, which again is buffet style. That's something that we weren't ready for. So it's the business now that we're servicing.
I think, Sharon, through you, it's a positive problem.
Yeah.
Rather than taking things away from your business, we're actually investing into it and making this one for heavier businesses in Seaford, I guess. There's no one else to compete with the view, I don't think. And the more we can invest in this particular space, the better in the long run is for Seaford Town Council and also the residents of Seaford as well. So I think if they put £5,000 in, I think it would be a good positive investment. So I think it's a positive. I'm glad Councillor Mead actually flagged this up because sometimes things just slip through the net. And Councillor Mead, is all beady eye on things as usual. Trying to winkle these things out from the bottom of the pile. So I'm quite pleased with that. So Councillor Mead's brought to our attention. And I'd say it is a very positive problem. I'm proud to say, no, this place is actually going where it should have been a few years ago.
So on the other, do you want to take the other?
I don't mind, Louise, but I mean, yeah, I mean, so as was sort of outlined in the heads of terms and also in the reports to the full council, but it's helpful to be as clear as we can be. So in no particular order, it's a tenancy lease, so they'll be leasing most of the upstairs and a couple of rooms downstairs, like where the cellar is, for example, and then they'll have shared access to bits of the downstairs to make sure they can access the cellar. And so, but essentially, but meanwhile, we maintain ownership of the building and also of the golf course as well. And so how the tenancy works, it's different from residential tenancy because it's a commercial one, but it's not dissimilar in the sense that basically it's been handed over to them in a certain condition and then they maintain it to that condition. They're responsible for the inside, if you like, keeping it at the condition at which they hand over to them, and we maintain responsibility for the fabric of the building overall. So if there's a hole in the roof, we have to fix it. But you know, if the carpet gets a bit warm, they have to take action. So, and then where that works in terms of stock and materials is we are basically agreeing with them the stock and materials that we're leaving with them and the stock and materials that we would take away but before the 1st of March. And for the stock, we're working out a stock valuation so that financial figure will be part of the final lease arrangements. Essentially, they'll be purchasing some stock from us at the 1st of March. But essentially, but overall, because again, I think as has been covered in some of the emails since the council meeting, we are also conscious of setting the new tenants up for success. And so we're quite happy for them to take on the equipment that's here and stuff like that, as long as they maintain it. So we're not going to strip the place bare and say, off you go again. So basically, between now and then, a full inventory will be prepared and basically signed off who gets that, they get this, we get that, whatever. And then part of the lease agreement will be if there's any necessary financial transactions to support that, but while still setting them up for success for the future. Thank you. There's a long way of saying in hand, Chair, but I hope that got the point.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. Can I just, obviously, this is the expenditures at month 7.
Yes, that's right, Chair.
Which I presume, if we were on target, would be about 68%. But let's take wages, for example. That's about 50%. Are we now saying that we are going to be under budget if the trend continues?
Yes.
Or was that just, is that one of them? Just trying to understand.
Yes, that was really, I mean, I wish I brought the forward forecast really to this meeting, Chair, because that's within the forward forecast.
Okay.
The answer to your question. Essentially, what this report shows you is that there's been a lot of agency staff and temporary staff usage during the first half of the financial year, which means that's massively overspent, but the actual core salary budget is effectively underspent this year. So now, as Louise has explained so clearly, going forward, we're operating more within core staff than we are within agencies. So that should help to, so that will balance more as we go forward during the year.
I think he's looking at golf.
Oh, sorry.
Is that good news, effectively?
The golf underspend in salaries, I believe, Simon, is the unfilled post.
Yes,
we
filled the
Sorry,
post.
I'll check that. I got carried away then. So sorry.
Yeah,
Well, the answer stands for the next.
Yeah, we filled the post on the 29th of October, so we got the period from April to the 28th of October. It's an unfilled.
Oh, gosh, this gives us some extra money to spend.
To save. That's what it meant.
Say that out loud.
We got that on 427.1, is that going to, obviously, there's been, I haven't said no, we spent, but obviously we spent 82% of that. Is that big an upfront cost, or is the trend going to be an overspend? On the lease, or it's lease?
The lease fees are fixed.
Okay, so you just kind of picked up upfront.
Yeah, they're paid, it's a 4+1, so paid at the beginning of the year.
I think overall it's been a very, very positive pictures, and so thank you very much to both the staff. Both Simon and Fraser, thank you for that. Councillor,
Thank you, Chair. I seem to recall a discussion about a leaky roof on a previous meeting. Is that in this budget, or is that in the next item?
The leaky roof will go in, I can't remember where it's been placed. We have captured a cost for the roof. Might have gone in.
That's a good question, Councillor Cannon. There may well be some capital budgets that can be taken from some earmarked reserves for maintenance and stuff like that. We would look to those. But when we, again, at the last full council, the councillors agreed that we would have some money to spend between now and the end of March to make sure everything is sound within this building at the transfer point, and the view costs, the roof costs would come from that.
Would that be reflected in this, or is that in a separate council budget?
I would expect by the end of the year it would, the final cost will show in these figures, yes. But as I say, but the kind of understanding that we may need to commit to additional funds this financial year, ahead of the transfer, was agreed at last full council.
So just to follow up on that, because the roof is a green roof.
Yes.
So is it going to be replaced like with like? Or in the sense of waterproofing and all the rest of it, which I have no idea how it's configured? Or is there going to be some look at how the green roof is made up? It's not just replacing a standard roof, you see, there's more involvement.
Yeah, no, that's understood, that's a really what you're saying.
So we've got Paul, our project officer, who's actually had his first visit to look at the roof. And he will be having a look at it, getting the right experts around and making some recommendations. We won't go ahead and fix it without, I think it's going to be costly, without bringing it back for some conversation here.
Could I add to that? I've been here for a while, and we had a leak originally, and that was found to be a slit in a joint, and that was repaired. They carefully removed what was there already. They repaired it, much like we prepare a digging up this or it's a rubber roof, so whichever way they do that, and then reinstalled the base work, the crates, the soil, and then the existing turf back onto that area. So if it ends up being a similar issue, then I'm guessing it will be quite straightforward to do that again.
We don't know if this is an aerated concrete deal on the roof end of it. One of the issues at the moment in how roofing deteriorates.
It won't be the rate either.
Sorry?
It won't be the rate either.
This is 10 years old. Not sure.
Yeah, it's 10
Anyways,
years.
kind of a thought.
Yeah, I think when Paul, as I say, he's had one visit and he's going to do a comprehensive evaluation report to do next. I think there's planning rules as well about what sort of roof it is, so we can't just change things. But equally, it's not working properly at the moment, so it's about getting that fixed. And we have taken on board your point about saying we have people back to fix a poorly laid roof. So it may be that we need to go back to the same people again and say, look, this is another problem. But we don't really know what it is yet. We don't know the details.
Okay, thank you.
So I do that.
We did talk about this last time quite extensively, and it's not recorded in the minutes. We said we didn't want to have to pay for it doing twice, so we needed to look at the cost of running it on a mains water system, replacing it like for like, changing it completely, just repairing it, changing it to something else. So, I mean, I can't exactly remember what everybody said, but I know Rod spoke extensively on it last time. And those comments need to be fed to the project manager so he incorporates everything that council said previously.
I think that's noted, Councillor, and I think that as Louise is describing, Paul, the project officer, is taking a very diligent approach to this issue. We may face a distance between an ideal well position and the position that we actually face, which is if the roof is not watertight, we will have to take actions to fix that. And we can't wait for a longer term strategic decision, because any change, as has been covered at previous meetings, the building having a green roof was a planning decision by South Downs National Park as a planning authority, so effectively an instruction to us to have a green roof. And so that could only be changed if the necessary planning mechanisms were followed and a planning decision made by South Downs Planning Authority to agree to a change to it. So that's a long road of change before you'd have a change to having a green roof, and in the meantime we've got to make sure it's watertight. So there's the action.
I just wish we had an asphalt roof on it. The asphalt roof has a lifespan to 100 and 200 years. And it loves being wet as well, so unfortunately that's not
It was the planning,
based problem now.
Absolutely, it was a planning decision, and but obviously I wasn't here, but from the reading I've done or from talking to people who were here, who've got very good knowledge of what happened, it was very important that this building was done as sympathetically as possible within the landscape and blended into its landscape as effectively as possible. And to be fair to the architects and builders of this building, they did a very good job with that, because if you go and stand over there and look back, you can see how well blended into the landscape this building actually is.
Thank you. Can I ask on 4314? I wasn't sure if that was what we're talking about. What's that? And obviously, it wasn't budgeted for, and we spent 3,400 on that. Which one? That's on page 10. For the cost of CAD top-up incentives.
Shall I? That's not actually a cost.
Okay.
What it is it's captured that people have received goods at a lower price. We've still made a profit on it, but what they've done is captured what the sales would have been if we sold it at full price. So it's
Okay, so over £50,000 worth of revenue.
No, that's fine. Just wanted to understand what it was. Thank you very much. I think we've asked other questions, and we are asked to note the contents of the report. Can I have a proposal and second, please? Councillor Snitton, Councillor Buchanan. So, all those in favour? Carried.
Thank you, Chair.
And then the last four. Item
That
is to
that was page 5.
page 26 now,
yeah.
which is the budget for
Yeah, 26.
2026, which is the budget. So is that for you?
Yeah, that's what we are.
Yeah. So do you
Oh,
want
to speak about it. Do you want to speak about it?
Again, well, I think I'd repeat what I said at the beginning. I'm very grateful to RFO and finance team for comprehensive report. Again, what this is done, this has been done, as you can see, in the form of a variance report, where basically it's explaining any significant variances to the previous budget, so councillors can understand any changes that have been proposed to the previous budget that they've done. So that hopefully gives you a kind of routine to understanding how these figures have been put together and any further questions that you may have. So happy to have that to you, Chair, for questions and discussion.
Thank you very much. Any questions from members? Yeah, Councillor.
It's more a point of information or a point of clarification, but and I think I've got it, but I wonder if officers could perhaps talk us through how, as reflected in this document, the proposed franchising arrangement of the view its impact on the budget of income and expenditure and how this all works out.
Yes, so yeah, that's, I mean, it's a reasonably straightforward process, to be honest with you, Councillor Sturton. In other words, obviously you have the previous cost centre which showed all the income and all of the expenditure. And what the RFO has done has been through that and identified the expenditure items that will still survive And the reason for those is what I was saying earlier in this meeting, and again has been covered at previous meetings, where the council are maintaining ownership of the building and maintenance of the building and everything relating to that. So all of those costs are still carried by the council, and they're within the budget report that you see.
Yeah.
But everything else, everything that's transferring has gone. You could also see, obviously, because the budget, and although the performance is better than budget this year, it's still a deficit performance. That deficit has disappeared from the figures. So that shows why the figures are, in inverted commas, improved upon what they were in previous years. I hope that helps to clarify.
Yeah, can I ask about 4.3, because you're asking us to approve this report and the recommendations, and on here it says the anticipated increase in the precept is 2%. Are you saying that we're agreeing at this meeting that the council tax is going to increase by 2%?
No. Just, all that does is just explain that based on this budget, this is how much I do it. I expect it better.
I'm very happy, Chair. I appreciate you showing that you understand. And again, that's also you're an experienced councillor, so this is for the benefit perhaps of the new councillors. Is the custom and practice here is that when we get to this stage with the budget consideration, the RFO kindly shares with the councillors an indicative position on the budget to help to guide their thinking about whether, so for example, if this said at the moment we're running a precept increase of 20% or something, you might think, oh, maybe we better find some savings in the Golf and Review budget then, because that 20% figure is too high, for example. That's why this is here. So an understanding of the current overall position to give you some context for your consideration of this budget. You yourselves will determine that final budget. This is only indicative anyway, and full council will actually set the final budget.
Okay, Councillor Meek.
Following on from that, it seems to suggest that we're saving about £120,000, which would seem to suggest that the precept could possibly go down.
I don't think
as I said, 4.3 is simply an indicative position of the council as a whole, not just this division or cost centre. But just as a matter of guidance. What that tells you perhaps is that yes, within some of the other cost centres there are some increases, but that's partly because those cost centres will bear, for example, the salary costs, and we know that the agreed NJC salary increases are greater than, for example, 2%. So they're going to cause rises in the figures. But councillors will see that. Obviously, community services and the other parts of the council will look at their particular budgets, and F&GP will look at the whole thing before full council considers it. So you'll understand the picture as you go. As I say, I hope 4.3 is helpful. If it's distracting, maybe it's a distraction to see that as well.
I was looking at 2.5 actually.
2.5,
because it seems to suggest there that the committee requirement is reduced from
yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
64,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
So
seems to suggest it's a kind of £120,000
yeah,
boost to the economy of the Golf and Review.
no, it just means £24,000, £120,000 less deficit.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which yes. But I mean, so that's in a way an income. We have more money in effect because we would have paid out. Would have been this council isn't in debt. It's been subsidised from somewhere else. So in other words, what it means is we won't be having to subsidise this part of the council. But therefore there should be money elsewhere in the council, which means we should perhaps have more to play with, or else we could reduce our precept.
But I think,
Maybe it doesn't work.
This is kind
that
of
would be a discussion. I just think that would be a discussion for full council. I think that would be
absolutely.
For all the council. I would rather just focus on what's in front of us today. In front of us today is to agree this budget. What it means in terms of the precept we can discuss that. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's right in this discussion, basically, in the fact that the overall position shows a very small increase, significantly below the rate of inflation, shows that some money is being saved somewhere for that to be possible. So that's really the position to, I think, to take.
Can I just say, looking at both the figures for the last 3 years for the golf course, it's always been a six-figure sum, and I don't want to use the word surplus, but net income over expenditure. I think that's just that's good news. So thank you very much for that
product to sell.
Yeah.
So it's
and I think that's good news to have. So that's good news, and I think it's much appreciated. Just to say that, yeah. Okay. Are we okay to recommend? We've commented on this, and are we okay to recommend this to FNGP? Is everybody okay with that? Can we have a proposal then, if members are? So we can cancel the Lord. All those in favour?
Thank you. Thank you, Captain.
And I think that's the end of the meeting.
Item 8, because we confused you, Chair, by bouncing around the agenda all over the place, we just need to do item 8.
That's all. Councillor G, I know we want to get on, but let's just do that.
It's been a long day.
This is the verbal update.
Okay, so verbal update.
Yeah.
It's just me, isn't it? It's just me chatting, basically, isn't it? Just, you know.
Sorry, you're right.
That's all right, so we are partly responsible for the increase in the fees. We got the news.
Charles, might stand up so we can all see.
Yeah, I could stand up. I can't talk as well when I'm standing up. I've got medical Golf England sprung upon us about 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I've contacted you, Fraser, and they've increased their fees from £6 something to £13 something, so a significant rise. Also, Golf England have done the same, but they were in the same position as we were a few years ago, where we set fees back in 2014, and then they never got an incremental rise every year, so they're trying to play catch up, really. Unfortunately, that gets knocked on to someone. It takes a huge percentage of the income we get as a club, etc. There is one benefit though, everyone will get a county card, so that means where, for instance, we had around 70 members who paid an extra tenner a year for county card membership, which gets a discount at other golf clubs, every member will automatically become a county card member as well, which is one of the reasons I think Fraser's obviously had to set that price, because now you're going to find there's 36,000 county card members in Sussex, which could increase their potential rate to come to other courses, etc. So it may well be a benefit to the course, etc. going forward as well. So there's a bit of a win-lose for members. Where else? Sorry, I put the old readers on. Getting old now. We've been very pleased to work with Simon Fraser. We've created a hazard on the first hole. When I say created, the hazard's always been there, but it's just now defined as a hazard rather than a bomb crater, which you can break your neck falling down trying to hunt for a ball, which a lot of members are pleased about, because that means actually if you are slightly unsteady on your feet, we don't all drink before we go out, so I'm phone through obviously, but if you are slightly unsteady on your feet, it now means you haven't got to go down and find your ball to drop a ball. So in layman's terms, it just means it will speed the play up as well on the first hole, and obviously that's just a lot better for a lot of members. So we're pleased that Simon's created that, and his team obviously have gone. Well, he did it in about a week, didn't he? Good job.
Training, so we enjoyed being taught.
Yeah, well done. We've sadly cancelled the quiz nights. There's been a little bit of issues with the cost of food and making it viable for all the members. We were going to run a monthly quiz, but basically the club can't sustain paying for people who don't turn up. So if we book for 40 people to come and only 36 can't turn up, that 40 quid, there's pennies in it for us really, you know, so unfortunately we've had to cancel those, which is a bit of a shame, but you know, it's business. We're continuing with the mixed opener, and I know there's been some discussion because obviously we now know there's going to be a change of say, ownership, stewardship of the club as such, or of the actual view. And obviously we're trying to set prices for competitions which include food and drink in the summer, which obviously so there's a few discussions around that, but we've set a price and we just have to come in on that price either way, basically. But there are some concerns around membership over the ownership, a change as such. I refer to it as ownership, but as we've been hearing, we're doing well, or you're doing well. Good management has been doing well. And on that basis, they sort of want to know why it has to change if it's doing well. So, you know,
Sean, what's going to be happening is we're going to be getting in touch with you after tonight.
Yeah.
And we're going to be making arrangements for the new tenants to meet with you. And with Valens in Spain, it might need to be somebody else.
Yeah.
But a couple of appropriate representatives of the club. I think that the decision to make this change is 18 months of work, hundreds and hundreds of pages of reports, lots of matters considered. And the council has considered it really carefully and really diligently. It's partly financial, although the performance has improved significantly this year, it's still a deficit and showing a deficit in next year's budget as well. So, but it's not only financial. I think the council has also recognised that actually having a hospitality company run the hospitality and catering might be a better bet anyway for the golfers in medium and long term. So we would hope that it would bring improvements over time. But I think the best thing is if you guys meet with the people coming in and start to make those relationships with the golfers as soon as we can.
Lovely. I'll say it's concerns more than...
no, absolutely. But
I mean,
happy to hear them and happy to see all.
Yeah, I mean, there was a concern, and I don't know, I come to see you every week and such, but I don't go to every little facility along the front, and there was concerns from some raised to me that there's a bit of a monopoly of people, one company or one business running all the virtually things from the salts and the yacht club to here and bits and pieces, and so these are some concerns that actually will that power as such of having all these little means they can do what they like.
I mean, as I say,
So-
there's been a lot of work done around the due diligence and risk management around the arrangements. There's no risk-free solutions to any position, but the council have understood how any risks such as these are going to be managed going forward. At the same time, I think it's fair to say that it's an initial 2-year arrangement with the potential to be longer. So obviously that, and within the first 2 years, again, measures have been made around risk management to enable the council to take it back reasonably straightforwardly if they need to during the first 2 years. So we're doing all we can to manage the risks around this change, while understanding that it is a change for the better in the long term, the council believes.
So can I assure you, I mean, one of the things about the last meeting which we spoke about as well is to make sure that I say the concerns, but to make sure that the golf, the core project, which is the golf and the golf courses, is not adversely affected by this. So for us, it's quite important that the golf income and the golf structure doesn't suffer because of that. So, and I think this meeting will be a forum for you to feedback any concerns you have for us. So we are listening. So we are here to listen. So I can assure you that, and we'll take any concerns raised seriously. Yeah.
And I think, Sean, I mean, completely appreciate the points you're making. Change, there will always be concerns around change, whatever the change is, always going to be the case. So that's why we want to start building that relationship with you guys as soon as possible. So that's what we'll be setting up.
That's it, really. Not much been happening really with the rain, so I don't want to bore you too. There's some jungle fans in this room.
Before we close the meeting, Councillor Adeniji, I did have a question which probably rightly would have come under item 7. Are you prepared to take?
Of course I am.
So, I mean, as I came into the building tonight, I did notice signs advertising this wonderful bottoms branch. And I don't want to get in the way of anyone's good fun, but coming from the land of minimum alcohol pricing, as you might tell from my accent, I did wonder, what are the consumption patterns of consumers in relation to this, and how many how many units of alcohol do people that avail themselves of this bottomless drug to consume? And are there any concerns about this?
So in terms of licensing and our responsibilities for running a venue where we follow the licensing agreement to the T and beyond, we make sure that alcohol is consumed in a sensible manner, and that if anyone looks like they don't need another glass or another mug or pint of anything, then that will be part of our licensing requirements. So we're really robust on that, and every staff member has a full pack and has to have read and signed that they understand the rules for serving alcohol. In terms of how popular that offer is, I don't know, is the answer. And that may well change as things go forward. We haven't had any issues at all of having to throw people out, shall we say. I think probably helped by the fact you have to drive here, or there has to be a nominated driver, because there's no public transport. So, I mean, it's a good query to raise, but we are really hot on it. If you lose your licence, I mean, the venue can lose its licence, but my licence at the moment is behind the bar. If I lose mine, actually, in the worst case, it's a prison sentence. They don't mess with this stuff, so we don't mess with it either.
And I presume as well that fact, I know that if Lewis District Council, as an assistant authority, has any concern about any of our promotions, they will be straight on the line, to the premises that is over there. So, and the fact that Lewis District Council, well, hasn't raised any objection as far as I'm aware, I think can kind of gives us so much assurance that you're not doing anything. We should.
It just becomes it's almost impossible to get out. I've got my BIA license, and it's almost impossible to get one. And it's the easiest thing in the world to lose it. Literally one tiny thing out of place, and you're in the dock completely. So, also fact, I don't think anybody can afford to get drunk these days. It's too expensive.
On that note,
you pay one fee and it's 18 months to get down.